Hello and welcome back. I am really excited to share these 3 beautiful recipes with you today. And for any of you who are disappointed that this week is not the gut reset video that I mentioned last week, it's not that I'm not working on that. It's definitely in the works. Wow, my glasses are very dirty. I've been working on that a lot actually in the last week for you, 2 weeks. It's just, I really, really, really want to take the time to make sure that I give you some helpful tools and resources in the process of all that, not just some tips and tricks for what you can or can't eat. So this week, I'm going to share with you these gorgeous recipes that I made. I made the squash blossoms weeks ago. I made the zucchini peanut butter soup maybe a week ago when I was able to start eating not just clear liquids. It's so delicious. It is so delicious. Okay, the blossoms, the squash blossoms, I try them every year. I am definitely not professional in this area at all. I have not perfected the stuffed squash blossom, but they were still delicious. And every year I try them, I get a little bit closer. Maybe not to perfection, but to really, really good, let's say. And the other recipe, okay, so full disclosure, I mentioned it a few times while I'm making the recipe that I'm not following the instructions very carefully. And you will see in the result that I definitely should have. That having been said, it's delicious. It really is delicious and definitely worth trying. Just very, very definitely worth following the actual instructions. So I will put a link to the cookbook that I got the recipe out of. And if I can find the recipe just online, if the author, Gaz Oakley, if he shared it publicly, I will just pop a link to that in the description below. I will also link the zucchini peanut butter soup recipe, which I got from the Farming Chefs, I believe they're called. They are not a plant-based website or entity YouTube channel, but they have some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous plant-based recipes. So this is one of them. So I will share a link to that because I know they have that recipe up on their website. And then the squash blossoms, I just made it up. So I will write down what I did and link that as well below for you. I hope you like all of these recipes, or at least one. I hope you try them, and I hope you let me know how that goes. I think that they're all just incredibly delicious. So that's why I'm sharing them with you today. I hope you guys are doing good. I'm feeling a lot better than last time I filmed. I hope I didn't seem too discouraged and hungry, sad in that video. I didn't actually have the heart to go back and watch it again because I'm nervous about that. But anyway, whatever. It is the end of August. It is still very beautiful outside. The heat waves have passed, so now it's just actually pretty out. The only thing I don't like about this time of year is the onslaught of wasps in our back courtyard. They make it very uninspiring to spend time out here, but I'm going to try and get out here today and pick. We still have some tomatoes ripening, and there's tons of herbs. And next weekend, I think I'll be posting a video of how to preserve some of those. I think we'll focus on rosemary, if I'm not mistaken. That's the plan. So definitely come back for that next week. And sometime between now and then, I will share with you the video that I'm working on for a gut health reset. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to tell you for now. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And I will thank you in advance for watching this video. It means a tremendous amount to me. I thank you with all of my heart if you subscribe to this video. And if you are a Patreon or Substack subscriber, I don't even have the words, as always. I always say that, but it's always true. And if you would like to work one-on-one with me for naturopathy or nutrition, there is a booking link in the description below for both online and live consultations. I will be back very, very soon in the meantime, take really, really, really good care of yourselves. Bye. I stuffed the squash blossoms with a kind of vegan ricotta that I made with some soaked cashews and miso paste, nutritional yeast, some fresh oregano. I added some salt and some granulated garlic and some pepper. And then I also added a tiny bit of lemon juice, and I whizzed that up in the food processor until it was pretty smooth. And then I added also a block of medium firm tofu. I blended all of that together until it was very soft and smooth. And then I put that aside in the fridge to cool while I prepared my blossoms. So for dredging, I used some all-purpose flour and some salt and pepper. And I also used some dried oregano. I had both male and female blossoms, so I had to pull the little mini zucchinis off of some of the blossoms, and from all of them, I had to pull out the stamen or pistil, the little part with the pollen inside in the very center of each blossom. So I pulled that out and made sure there wasn't any extra pollen. I rinsed the blossoms really, really gently just to get any residual pollen out of the blossom. I tried 2 different ways of dredging my zucchini blossoms this time. So in one bowl, I had some plant-based milk with cornstarch in it. And with another bowl, I had just an egg replacer. I use Just Egg, actually, their liquid egg replacer. So for half my blossoms, I dipped them in the plant-based milk and cornstarch, and then I dredged those in the flour. But for the other half of the blossoms, I did not dip it in the plant-based milk and cornstarch. I dipped it in the Just Egg, and then I dredged that in flour. They were both really, really, really good, but I'll be honest, I preferred the Just Egg. The Just Egg mixture was just much more flavorful. I think also if I was going to do the cornstarch and plant milk one again, I would put in some black salt just to give it more of an eggy, saltier taste. I put some olive oil in a cast iron pan, and I sauteed them in that until they were tender and they were delicious. I don't love deep frying foods. I find it really tricky to get the oil to the exact right temperature that the food won't just soak up a lot of the oil, or otherwise that the oil doesn't get too hot and start smoking. So I really haven't mastered it. I really just don't even love doing it, and I don't eat fried food enough, or often enough, I should say, that I've had a chance to really master my technique. But I think these turned out really, really good, and they were very tasty. I started following this YouTube channel recently called The Farming Chefs, and they are not at all vegan. They do a lot of things on their channel that are not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. I don't watch those episodes, but I love so much of what they're doing for their community. And I also think some of their recipes are incredible. And some of the recipes they have that are not plant-based, I've veganized and found were delicious. But this particular recipe is already plant-based and takes very, very few ingredients. And I was so happy to discover this recipe when I was having a diverticulitis flare-up, which is kind of coming off the clear liquids and able to eat, and I use the term eat very loosely, but to eat smooth soups. Because this was very filling and it really tasted like I was eating actual food. So for this recipe, I just diced up some yellow onion as well as some green onion and some garlic. And then I just chopped those pretty roughly because all of the ingredients going in this soup are going to be pureed afterwards. You just want to cut them sort of equal in size so that the cooking time doesn't vary much. So you can you can cut up the zucchini whatever size you want, as long as most of the pieces of zucchini are roughly the same size as each other, so you don't have some pieces that are really well cooked while other ones are still raw. So I chopped up also the zucchini. You saute the onions and the garlic, and then you add vegetable broth and your zucchini, as well as your green onions, and you simmer those in the broth until they're really, really nice and tender. I imagine you could just do this in water as well if you don't have vegetable broth, but I had just made a big batch of vegetable broth, so I had some on hand, and I just prefer doing that because it's so much more flavorful. Once your zucchini is really, really, really nice and tender, you put it in a high-speed blender with some peanut butter. And I know that sounds weird, or maybe it doesn't sound weird to you. It sounded very strange to me. And I think that's partially why I tried it. Because I was like, that sounds really, really weird. I need to know what this tastes like. So you put all of your zucchini, your veggies, your broth, everything that you were simmering in the pot into a high-speed blender. And then you also add some smooth peanut butter, and you blend that until it's just completely beautifully velvety smooth. I can't remember if it's meant to be served cool or warm. Mine was like a bit warmer than room temperature, so it was warm. I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, that the soup is intended to be served cold, which is not how I ate mine. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It was delicious. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And I will put the link to that recipe in the description below. I am making a recipe from this book. It is Plant to Plate by Gaz Oakley, and he has so many gorgeous plant-based recipes. And today I am attempting his tomato thyme upside down cake, and we'll see how it goes. I haven't actually tried it before, so I'm really hoping that it's successful because I'm doing this right here and now for you. So, or with you, let's say with you. I'm a bit nervous that this microphone's not working, so we'll see. Oh gosh, if it is working, you just heard me sip my tea. That's gross. Oops, sorry. All right, so for this recipe, we have halved cherry tomatoes, and I don't have cherry tomatoes. I have these big, well, they're actually mini Romas, and I have these cocktail tomatoes. So I am going to slice them into a few. I'm not going to halve them. I think I will probably cut them in threes and hope that that works. So already we've gone off book. So if this doesn't work out, it's not Gaz Oakley's fault, it's mine, because I'm a kitchen cowgirl. I just can't do things the way I have been instructed to do them. I don't know why. I should probably work on that at some point in my future. But for now, we are going to try to stay as close to the instructions given as possible. I've pre-measured most of the things that we're going to use. There's quite a few little containers here, as you can see, but it's not that complicated, honestly. And is that going to be too fat? I feel like it is. I probably should have thought this through a little bit better before I started. So what we're doing right now, I'll explain to you, is we are making the topping, or the upside down part, which is made out of the tomatoes and a few condiments. And just like a pineapple upside down cake, we are going to prepare the fruit, and that will go in the bottom of the pan first, and then we're going to pour the batter over top of that. So we start with these gorgeous, beautiful tomatoes. Some are from our garden, some are from our farm basket, because I'm not growing all these gorgeous varieties in my little box outside. I love the way these ones look. They're so gorgeous. It probably doesn't change the taste at all, but I love the way they look. For this topping, we need 4 tablespoons of olive oil, which I have here already measured out. And we also need 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. And I have these little bottles I got as samples in our fruit basket. And I'm gonna use this one up because it's almost empty. That's about 1 tablespoon, I'd say. And then in this other bottle, we'll grab another 2 tablespoons-ish. And then we need 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. So 1, 2, 3. These are so beautiful. This looks gorgeous. Like, I just want to eat it the way it is right now. We also need 2 tablespoons of thyme leaves. Oh, aren't you so pretty? The lighting in here is not great, and it's so gray and dark outside because it is a rainy day, and I'm sad because that means you can't fully appreciate the color of these tomatoes. Oops, because the light in the kitchen is very intense. I'll try and play with it a bit when I'm editing, but I don't know how successful I'll be. I'll give it a shot. Okay, so I just lightly oiled the cake pan, and now I'm going to pour all of these gorgeous tomatoes in here. That might have been very loud. Apologize. So for the wet ingredients, we need a cup of almond milk and how much? Half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. We have the rest of the maple syrup, which was about 5 tablespoons. And we have both, oh wait, no, we need vinegar also, I think. 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. So 1, 2. We'll say that's 2. And then about 4 tablespoons of chia seeds. And I believe that is it for the wet ingredients. And then we will stir that together and set that aside also. Even that looks cute. My springform pan seems to be leaking a little bit, which I've never had that happen before. I'm not sure what's going on. I put a bit of foil at the bottom. Hopefully that will help. I'm concerned. Okay, here we go. All right, so for the actual cake, we have about 1.5 cups of almond flour and a cup of all-purpose flour. We have some baking soda, baking powder, and salt. And we are going to pretend to sift that. But I'm gonna use a whisk. And see, I told you, just a cowgirl, kitchen cowgirl. Okay, and then we're going to put a well in the middle of our dry ingredients and add our wet. Ingredients. And we will incorporate those. This is really fun. I'm curious how it's going to taste because there is a lot of maple syrup in this recipe and tomatoes. So it's going to be a sweet and savory, maybe. We'll see. I mean, it's not a dessert, right? Or is it? I don't know. Is this really what it's supposed to look like? Now I feel nervous. Like, was I supposed to strain out the chia seeds? No. Was I supposed to let them sit longer? I hope not. It's very cute. I really hope this works because it's so cute already. All right, so let's see. Pour the wet mixture into the dry ingredients and stir until just combined. We did that. Pour the batter over the tomatoes. We did that. Give the tin a little tap. We did that. And now we're going to transfer it to the oven and bake. Okay, so here's the thing. First, I really wish that my springform pan had not leaked a ton of the maple syrup and balsamic while it was baking, but it did. I also wish that I had listened to my instincts and not cut my tomatoes so thick. And I wish I had paid attention to the introduction in the cookbook where it told me not to rush the cake out of the pan when it was done. It says explicitly in the recipe to wait a minimum of 25 minutes before releasing the cake from the pan, and I did not do that, and my cake fell immediately and just looked so sloppy and sad, and I was worried that it was just horrifically undercooked, which it was not. But had I actually paid attention to the instructions, which I repeatedly kept saying that I was not doing, I would have had a much more beautiful cake. But let me tell you, it was delicious. It's kind of a confusing taste because it's both sweet and savory at the same time. I've never had tomato cake before, but I will absolutely make this again. It was so tasty. I will definitely make this again. But this time, I will definitely follow the instructions.